Hello everyone, welcome to this channel. So in this video, we will continue our introduction of the probability of events. So in previous video, we already talked about what's the definition of probability and how we can compute the event if we know the weights of all outcomes in a sample space. So in last lecture video, we already talked this thing. So if we have two events and then the intersection of these two events is equal 0, then we can get the probability of the union of these two events actually is equal to the sum of the probability for each of them. However, in this lecture, what we want to talk if now we still have an event, but now these two events, their intersection is not an empty set. Then the question is, what is the event of this E1 union E2? So to answer this one, actually we can use the one diagram to help us compute this. So now assume we have still use a rectangle to help us compute the to show the sample space, and then we have two circles. So this two circle is show this two events. So they are E1 and the other is our E2. Okay, so this is S and this is our E1 and E2. So then if we look at this intersection of this, so how we can compute this? So there is a several way to do this. So the first thing is we can think this union of E1, E2 is if we look at everything in the right shadowed circle and we look at the part which is shadowed by the color blue, this one. So like if we think about the air of the union of E1 and E2, then if we use the air of E1, the right shadowed one, plus the air of the blue shadowed one, then we will find the part shadowed by both red and blue is count twice. So the method we get the air of this union is we sum each of them together and minus the intersection part. So for the probability, if we want to compute the probability of E1 union E2 when the intersection of E1 E2 is not empty set. So the idea is really similar. So the answer is the probability of union E1 E2 is equal to the probability of E1 plus E2 and minus the probability of their intersection. So now you can see in case if now the part E1 intersection E2 is an empty set, then we know the probability of empty set is 0. So that means when E1, E2 have no intersection, this third part will disappear. So that's why in the previous video we have that equation. Okay, so this is about the one formula for our probability of union. So let me give you one example of this. So now assume we have a table which have some data here. So assume now we have two exams. We say this is A1 and A2. And then the candidates will take them. So there are two results for each of them. The first one is pass and the second result is of course fail. Then so here we have people take them. So here not all people will take both of them. Maybe some only take the first A1, maybe some is only take the A2. So now in this one here, if we look at this first number here, 1, 2, 3. So this means there is a 123 students or candidates who passed the A1 exam. And then the second thing about 48, it means that 48 candidates fail on this exam. Okay, and then so in the question, what I want to ask is, here there are two events. The first event is we randomly choose a candidate, and then we want to know if we choose this candidate from the people take the A2 exam. And then this is a first event. And then the second event is we also randomly choose a candidate. However, now this candidate is a pass. So we didn't say it's passed the first exam or passed the second exam. We didn't carry it, but just say they pass. And then for the question is ask us what is probability E1 intersection E2. E1 union E2 here. So to compute this E1 union E2, what we know by the formula of the probability of union, this actually is equal probability E1 plus the probability of E2 and minus the probability E1 intersection E2. So that means to get this value, what we need to do, we need to compute these three answers. So to answer these three questions, so what is a E1? E1 is we randomly choose a candidate and it's from who takes the second exam. So how many in total, how many candidates here we have? So we can say the total number here is actually 380. And then how many people take the exam A2? The number is 147. So that means here for this one, this is 147 over 318. And then for the second part, the probability of E2, the idea is similar. So now the total number is 308. And then because the students is only take one exam, right? So now we think about how many people pass. So the pass number is when we look at the sum one. So we know this is a number we have about in total is 238. So that means now this is 238. And then the third question is E1 intersection E2. So that means this candidate should take exam A2 and also pass it. So people takes exam A2 and also pass it. So the number in this picture, I circle this by orange color. So this is a 150. So that means here in this question, the third one is numerator is 150 and the denominator is same. So then we need to use the calculator or to help us compute this. So here the answer for this one is 270 over 318. Okay, so this is how we can compute the probability of a union event, and this is one example. So that's my introduction of the probability of union. In next lecture, we will talk about one more special probability. The name of it is conditional probability. So hopefully you can watch the next video.